Alright, so this is a little yapping video. You know, I'm standing up, so I might y'all might see me pace around and whatnot, but don't mind me. I just got ADHD. For those who don't know me, my name's Ian. I'm a designer, creative in general. I love sewing. I love making clothes. I love creating in almost any medium. Just a creative in general. I don't like to box myself in. I did go to fashion design school here in Puerto Rico. I am from Puerto Rico, by the way. I forgot to mention that as well. We're actually in Puerto Rico as we speak. That's cool view you can see behind me right now. I know it might be a little windy and y'all can hear like the waves crashing and shit, but just think of it as some therapeutic background music. You feel me? Now, why am I making this video? Well, in general, I'm gonna be making content in 2025. Let me wait till this car passes. I'm a little shy still. My bad, y'all. Every time somebody comes by, I keep looking at them. I'm just not used to like recording myself out in public like this. I'm by myself too, so I feel extra fucking weird doing it. Yeah, I mean, this video is to just kind of introduce myself, who I am, a little bit about myself, and what to expect from this channel and from myself as a creative as well in this new year. You feel me? We are in 2025. This is the start of 2025. Currently it's January 5th, so I'm recording this January 5th. So just to tell y'all a little bit about myself, I was born in Puerto Rico. When I was 8 years old, I moved to Miami with my father. When I was around, I'd say 17. Well, no, when I was 17, because it was actually like right after my birthday. I actually got kicked out of Miami, so I was wilding out a little bit. My dad didn't know what to do, and he gave me the boot. He gave me the fucking boot. I ended up here in Puerto Rico once again when I was 17, but it was definitely a blessing in disguise. Uh, I had a lot of like, character development. I grew a lot as a person. I met a lot of people, and most importantly, I also started my fashion journey over here in Puerto Rico. I've met a lot of wonderful people along the way. But like I said, I also studied. So I actually studied fashion design in EDP University. I didn't finish it. There was only one more year, and I honestly learned most of my skills outside of school. As soon as I started kind of making clothes and making that my objective, did tell my parents initially I was gonna like drop out of school and start making clothes, but my mom was like, hey, like if you want to live with us, you got to go to school. So that's why I ended up just going to fashion school, even though I had already kind of started making my own clothes, making my t-shirts. I could put some pictures and videos of some of my early designs. I started kind of with patchwork. I feel like that's kind of like where a lot of people nowadays started, like just sewing shit onto jeans and making cool shit. I would see like TikTok videos and things like that, and I'm like, damn, like that shit looks dope. Let me try it out myself. And it kind of just kept going from there. At first, I was just making like customs, and then I actually made my brand, which is Ataxia. I'll get more into Ataxia, what it means, and what to expect from us kind of in the second half of this video. A big turning point that kind of like accelerated my growth. Saw a post on Instagram one day from Backdoor Vintage. They're a pretty known consignment and vintage shop here in Puerto Rico. And the owner, Jay, he was looking for like somebody to work in store. And as somebody, like, I was just trying to get into the scene, get into rooms with people who, are doing already what I wanted to do or are kind of in that universe. And so I actually hit up Jay. I signed up for like a sales associate position basically, but I showed him my clothes and he called me right away. I remember I was super excited when Jay called me. He was like, oh, like, you know, I have something else for you. Like, I'm not going to give you the sales position, but I have something else that you might be interested in. Agreed to it right away. I was like, whatever it is, let's go, let's do it. And then that's when he took me to what back then was called Unanimous Threads. It was a little ass shop in Santurce. It was literally like a little hallway. And yeah, and that's where I met Christian. I also met Liga there, Chico. At that time, that was like the little squadron working there. Luis too. How could I forget about Luis? I mean, at that time he was working like in the back screen printing because the screen printing area was like in a separate little room, so he was kind of locked away. I met all the boys there, and that's kind of where I'd say I really started to grow as a designer, because at that time I only had a little like domestic machine, but over there they had industrial straight stitch machines, they had embroidery machines, they had screen printing. So all of a sudden I had a lot of tools at my disposal essentially. Also met other people who helped me a lot in my journey. Mandy, he's another designer here in Puerto Rico, and Mandy also had a lot of skin in the game already. He's been doing this for years already. So he kind of also, all those guys kind of just put me on to a lot of game. I was able to learn there a lot. I was able to grow. Eventually, we moved out of Santurce, and we got a shop here in Cataño. Cataño's also actually over there somewhere, like kind of see it in the distance. Yeah, we moved there, which was also crazy to see. It was a very inspiring experience to see. It started all off as a little print shop in a little hallway. All of a sudden we were in like this big industrial building. There was a lot of trials and tribulations for sure, though. It wasn't just like boom, we got there and everything was fine and dandy. We actually didn't have power for a long time. We didn't have a lot of things. We were like working with like a power plant out there, so it definitely taught me that there's no excuse, because we made that shit happen. Towards the start of 2024, I actually moved back to Miami. This last year has been very difficult. 2024, I dare to say, has been one of the more challenging years of my life, just in terms of just a lot of shit going on. I went from like having no type of responsibility to when I moved to Miami, everything's on my hands. Of course, I still have my family and they're there if I need them, but you know, I had to figure shit out on my own. My dad blessed with the car, I just had to fix it. I actually crashed it, and I'll put a picture of that as well, and then fixed it and painted it completely. It arguably looks better than it did before, even though the body shop kind of fucked me, but that's another story. 2024 was filled with challenges, but it is a new year now. So I mean, in terms of 2025, what to expect for 2025, man, you know, I've already had a lot of personal growth through all my experiences. I feel like this year is definitely the year where I want to apply everything I've learned so far and just get to it, man. You know, I feel like I've been my biggest enemy my whole life. I've always held myself back, whether it's my habits and things I do. Something I'm changing this year. I'm taking a break from the za, yeah, boys. I'm retiring from the za for a little bit, man. I've been smoking since a young age. It's caused me nothing but problems, if I'm being honest. I know I can function with it. Like, it's not like I'm useless when I'm high. It really does nothing for me, and I'm surprised it's taken me this long to be like, just fucking snap out of it and be like, yo, I need to put this shit down, at least take a break and be like, you know, I don't need this shit. I don't need to smoke on a daily basis or every other day or, you know, every other weekend. I definitely want to just live a healthier life with what I eat, working out and whatnot, and, you know, not putting shit in my body, not relying on substances. And that's a big goal. And I'm definitely going to take y'all along the journey, you know, with that. Now, in regards to the brand and this YouTube channel, obviously we're gonna have, you know, content in regards to my brand and fashion. Ataxia is kind of like my passion project, and we do have other things going on in the background. I will be uploading one video once a month. It might be more than that on some months. Try to do this YouTube thing various times in different mediums. One thing I noticed is that I would kind of be over ambitious. I'd be like, man, I want to upload a video every week or every 2 days, or, you know, crazy shit like that. Realistically, man, it's not easy to, you know, make a video, make an idea, conceptualize it, edit it, get it up. You know, I'm definitely trying to set very reachable goals this year. Some months I might upload twice or 3 times, depending on, you know, what I've got going on, if we got a lot of content. Now, these videos are going to be a lot of different things. I mean, they could be vlogs, they could be sit-down videos like this, or y'all could tell already. I can be a yapper, you know, whether it's about dumb shit, whether it's about fashion, whether it's just on some self-improvement type vibes, because you know I am on that wavelength. I do like to share my experiences, uplift people, and kind of be light for people. You might see some skate content. You might just see some vlogs. Maybe, you know, I go somewhere cool. I go to a cool event. So you can expect car content for sure. Of course, I also have a lot of fashion content. Not only do I make clothes, and I'll talk about my clothes, the process of getting them done and whatnot. Also, just other designers, other creatives. If I cop something, a dope piece, maybe with some cool history, or just something I want to unbox and show y'all. You can expect a lot of drops this year for Ataxia. We will be dropping every 3 months, with the first drop being March. So it's going to be in March. The t-shirt will be part of the drop. As you can see, it has like a acid wash on it, and it's two-tone. It has a DTG print here, like the Ataxia moon, and a little cross around it, kind of like a sigil style cross. I do want to tell you just the overall meaning of Ataxia, and kind of leave y'all with some motivation, or I don't even know if it's motivation, but like just a positive message. And I created Ataxia kind of like with the idea of trying to use it as a medium to spread positivity, whether that's through the actual pieces or the concept the collections are based off of. Ataxia itself is a medical term. There's multiple diseases that can cause ataxia. It's kind of like a symptom, essentially like uncontrollable movements, spasms. So it's like something you don't have control of. And in some sense, I kind of related that to life. Life can be obviously very out of our hands, very uncontrollable, and we're just faced with situations and circumstances that simply aren't in our hands. And you know, even with that, we have to do our best and move forward, and you know, do the best we can in our day-to-day lives, regardless of what situations we may face. That's essentially the whole idea behind ataxia and the meaning it has for me. Never know what somebody's going through. Sometimes you just need a little reassurance, you know, to keep going forward and to not give up. You know, I'm young, I'm only 22, but I've already had, you know, some difficult points in my life. I've dealt with depression, anxiety. It's still something I deal with. I'm a very emotional human, and I'm being very vulnerable in saying this on camera, but I mean, I'm trying to learn to not give a fuck. That's kind of the reason why I'm putting this out there too. It's a way to show, man, like, I don't give a fuck, man. I don't care what people think. Not in a cocky way, but you know, I'm not ashamed of, you know, what people might think. Yeah, and I kind of just want to leave y'all with, you know, this message. If you are going through something tough right now, man, I don't want to sound cliche as I'm about to say something cliche, but you know, it's always light at the end of the tunnel, man. I feel like I'm a living testament of that. My best advice I think I could give to you is just try to find a purpose. Your purpose could be goal you want to reach. It doesn't have to be like a profession necessarily. And also take accountability, man. I feel like for a long time I victimized myself, and I was looking for pity. I was looking for people to feel bad for me. I would just bring up my circumstances and be like, look at what I've gone through. This is unfair. And bruh, it is unfair. It's unfair as fuck. Sometimes, you know, we're just dealt a shitty hand and shitty things happen. And you know, that's valid. That's a valid emotion to feel, and you need to feel that, internalize it, and then move the fuck on. Like, you can't carry that shit on for the rest of your life. At the end of the day, there are a lot of things that are in your control. So if you just focus on that, don't victimize yourself, take accountability, and just work on the things you can do, you're just bound to do better. There's no way around it. But you have to get out of that mindset of blaming everything else, and have to be accountable, because without being accountable, you know, you're just not in control of your life. That's something I'm just now learning. I'm still working on it too. I'm yapping all this shit that I've heard on YouTube and on Instagram reels, all the inspirational quotes combined into one. As cliche as a lot of that shit you see online may be, there is a lot of truth to it. So yeah, man, I hope y'all doing good. I hope y'all have a blessed year, man, and let's get it to it this 2025.